Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's been a minute since I've had my own solo podcast, and I do apologize immensely for that. Unfortunately, I live a very busy life and schedule between softball, work, the band, trying to be a part of Midweek Meltdown on Wednesdays, which a new episode comes tomorrow night. But I figured I had some time in my schedule and I would come talk to you. But this time I brought a guest, someone who could also understand the complexities of basically having a life outside of music and having a podcast. With that being said, I'd like to welcome Aaron Carrigan, member of Mornaran and also the host of The Great Lake Effect. How you doing today, Aaron?
Good. How you doing, man? It's been a
You
long time
know,
coming.
I was going to say, we've talked about this for a while now. Luckily, I'm
We
glad it's
have.
finally being able to happen. But no, just another day out here in good old Elkhart, Indiana. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at this week.
Oh, fun.
Apparently it's the RV capital of the world. I don't exactly know what that means, but looking out my hotel window, I see a lot of RVs, literally.
Huh. Like, is there anything cool there? Is there anything to justify camping there?
I mean, I know it's like 14 miles away from Notre Dame. I know that much. Unfortunately,
Okay.
I'm not staying out here on the weekends, so I will not be catching any college football games.
Oh man, that's right. That's coming up soon, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, Aaron, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Uh well, you're right in the fact that I do understand the hassles and stresses of juggling life. Um, I'm a father of four, and I work full time, and yeah, I do a little music on the side, a little solo project called Mornaran. It's been kicking around for about 15 years now, so that's kind of cool. I haven't improved in quality or talent, but still here. And yeah, just a couple months ago, I launched a little radio show called The Great Lake Effect.
So, which would you like to talk about first? Would you like to talk about the music aspect, or you want to talk about the radio show aspect?
Uh, okay, let's go with the radio show. We'll start there.
Okay, so the radio show, The Great Lake Effect, you said you started a few months ago, and I remember when you first brought up that you were doing it. What propelled you to want to get involved in online radio?
um, so I'm friends with Dave and Lisa over at OTAT 247, and Dave one day was like, "Hey man, how would you feel about guest DJing? Like coming up and be like, oh hey, here's a song or two. Have a great day, rah rah." I was like, "Oh yeah, that'd be cool." And I think the next day I had a Facebook page set up. I was already designing a business card. I don't like honestly like meeting you and being involved in everything going on in Punk in the Corn at the time. It was just like there's a lot of good fucking bands, like not just in Michigan, but like all around the Great Lakes. Boiler Beach over in Ontario, and you guys down in Illinois, and it was just like one of those things. I'm like, I think it'd be really cool to just have an avenue to showcase all these amazingly talented bands from around the area. And it's kind of cool too, because like geographically, we're all relatively close. I mean, we're all Midwesterners. We're like, oh, 5 hour drive, let's go. And I'm like, what if like we could foster like a greater community outside of just, the Chicagoland scene or the Tri-City scene or the Detroit scene? Like, what if we could like create connections and build relationships amongst bands and venues all around the area?
Seeing you bring up a good point on that one, the making connections and networking. And you know what? Bringing up Punk in the Corn and whatnot, yeah, the whole debacle that got bands talking amongst each other. There was some good that came out of it. I mean, in all retrospect, if that debacle hadn't happened, I don't know if we'd be communicating like we have, or be in conversation, because it seemed like before all that, a lot of the bands were not on their own, but more focused on what was going on.
Right.
That makes sense.
No, absolutely.
And as you even said, we're all within like roughly 5 hours of each other. And I think you were the one who posed the idea of why don't we just do like our own festival thing or our own tour thing?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, I think it'd be great. Summertime festival in Michigan, the Great Lakes region. I think that'd be phenomenal.
Oh, hell yeah. And like, somewhere down, downstate could ideally be central for everyone, even all the way up in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Tim TM and I were talking the other day, as a result of the fallout of our project falling apart for Punk in the Corn. I was like, dude, like, I still want to like meet up. I want to hang out. I want to have some beer. Like, let's. I'm like, so like, what's the closest middle spot to us? Toledo, Ohio. I'm like, oh shit, that's really not that far away.
No, it's really not.
So yeah, like a centralized location, like in southern Michigan, eastern Indiana, western Ohio, somewhere like in there. Yeah, like it wouldn't be an obscene drive for anyone. I mean, I guess maybe Minnesota would kind of,
Just a little bit. Also, Boiler Beach and everything coming from Ontario, Canada. That could be a bit of a, which hats off to them for wanting to tour down in the States with everything going on right now.
Oh, absolutely.
But even not just that, but the fact of I have no idea what it even takes to make that possible, like going across, the northern border to be able to do that. I'm sure it's a lot of paperwork and a lot of headache.
Right. Even just some of the details they touched on during the whole process of like, oh yeah, it's X amount of dollars just to, I'm like, holy shit. Like that is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine because you got to get the work visas and make sure you have your passports in order and just everything. Like, damn. And if I'm correct, they were handling all that themselves. It's not like they had a manager or someone on the side doing it for them.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like I do a lot of the booking for my band and everything. I don't think I'd have the patience to deal with all that shit.
It's wild when you think about like all the hats that us independent artists have to wear.
Mm-hmm.
Just to have some semblance of, oh yeah, you're a musician with a musical career.
Yep.
You know?
And the sad part about it is, and I'm sure you've been through this before, where people will look at you and be like, "Oh, you're a musician. You do all this. You do all that." Yeah, we play shows. We go to different areas. We go out of state. We release music, but no one actually sees all the behind the scenes that go into it: the headaches, the stress, the hassle, the financial responsibilities of it.
Right.
You know, And that's why, like, I'll tell people, I'm like, hey, streaming's great and everything, but if you can pick up a physical anything from a band, even a $5 window decal, that goes a long way.
Oh, absolutely.
Which, speaking of streaming and everything, I know Spotify is once again under hot water and whatnot. What is your thoughts on that? A lot of these more well-known artists pulling their music off of it.
I'll have to be honest. I haven't caught any of the latest Spotify drama.
Well, the best way to put it is obviously it's the whole artists aren't making a fair amount, which compared to the CEO and everything, which I fully agree with, you
Yeah.
know. But there are literally more well-known bands. I won't say major label. Um, like yeah, some of them are signed to labels and whatnot, but more of the bands that have been touring consecutively and consistently pulling their music off in a way of protest, which again, I get it. But on the turn of the coin, Spotify is the biggest streaming platform out there.
Exactly.
So I guess my question for you is what is your opinion on there's not a right or wrong decision, but how would you go about handling this if you had the right way to control
I don't know, like honestly, the amount that CEO makes compared to the fractions of pennies that we make,
it? Mm-hmm.
literally fractions of pennies. Anyone out there listening who is unaware, like I think you need 1,000 streams just to make $3.
Something like that. And I've also noticed Spotify is kicking up their um, security in regards to AI generated streams as well.
Yeah, I've noticed. I've gotten flagged a couple times. I'm like, look, dude, like it's obviously bots because if you took 2 seconds to listen to my music and look at my average streams, you can
Mm-hmm.
tell that this is something out of the ordinary. This is not
Well,
organic.
that's like I tell anyone, like in regards to like having a verified Spotify artist page, you can go in and look at all the numbers and demographics and everything. If you go in and look and literally you're here, you're here, you're here, and then you spike up and then you drop a couple days later and then you spike up again, there's obviously something going on. And that's not us. We are just submitting our music elsewhere to get pushed.
The second time I got botted, that's how I noticed. I was like, oh wow, I'm I had like 300 streams yesterday. That's a little sus.
Mm-hmm.
I took screenshots and I emailed my distributor. I emailed Spotify with the screenshots. I'm like, look, something fishy is going on. I want to get out ahead of this before you guys are like, oh, you're paying for bots. You're having AI. No, I promise I'm not.
See, and that is the funniest part about it is that we like Prison State Brigade has never been nailed for bots. So I don't know if who we've submitted to in the past just knows how to play the system. But as I said, we can look at the numbers, obviously tell, and then when it comes to like the financial aspect of it, it's like it doesn't meet up because that's where Spotify's like, no, we can tell X amount was bots, that's why we're not paying you for it, which is
Right.
always fun. But getting into that now, AI bots listening to music and streams and everything. How do you feel about these AI generated bands?
Oh man, I'm not a fan of it. Like I like obviously yes, music is music and new music is always cool, but like there's literally thousands of small artists out there with the potential to create the next hits. We
Mm-hmm.
don't need AI slop. And like it's just like I'll admit I've used AI a couple times for album artwork. Um I'll take the flack for that. Um but like creating I saw something a little while ago about a band that was blowing up and everyone's like, wow, this is so cool, and it turned out it was all just AI generated.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so disingenuous. Like my music may be terrible, but it's real. You know what I mean?
I hear you on that one. And sadly, Spotify has that wonderful weekly discovery thing.
Hmm.
And I guess what pissed me off about this is a band was put on it, and I'm like, okay, I'm liking this, I'm digging this. And I go and look them up, listen to a few other songs. I'm like, all right, they're really not that bad. And what tipped me off they were AI, I could not find any pictures of them online. Strike one. Strike two. They have released 13 albums within the last year and a half.
See, and like, I am not going to doubt the artistic creativity that some artists have. Like there's an artist who submits a new song every week to
Mm-hmm.
OTAT. I mean, you have artists like Taylor Swift who are dropping albums every 8, 9 months. Like, obviously, there are extremely creative people out there, and maybe there's a trove of music they're sitting on that they haven't released. But yeah, that's extremely excessive.
Well, it's even a matter of this. You have to think where if someone is releasing that many albums within that time frame, now Taylor Swift I can understand because all she has to do is just write music. That's
Right.
all she's got to do. She doesn't have to work a 9 to 5. She doesn't have to, X, Y. All she has to do is write music. If you are talented enough to where you are able to write a new song every week, bravo. Especially if you have a full-time job, you're paying bills, you're out there working, you're trying to have a life, bravo. Because I know it's been said that Prince would write a new song every day. Now, that man was a musical genius.
Oh, absolutely.
So I could believe he was able to write a new song every day. But again, that's what they were paid to do.
Right. That's literally their 9 to 5. That's their only responsibility.
Right. In regards to like the AI stuff, the saddest part about the situation I brought up where I was introduced to a band only to find out it was AI generated is that I was watching uh last week tonight with John Oliver on HBO Max, and he did a segment on AI generated bands. And the band he brought up was the one that I was like, oh.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I felt even more embarrassed at that point because I'm like, damn. And the photo he used was from the single they had released that had been thrown on my weekly discovery. Now, it's like, oh God, the hits just keep coming. But the worst part about it is, as you mentioned, there are bands out there that aren't getting any credit, aren't getting any push by Spotify, yet this AI shit is pushing it because, again, they're getting generated numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the quote unquote curated playlists on Spotify are AI generated at this point?
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, of all the things to have AI run, I feel like that'd be probably the easiest.
Well, the other thing that's easy for AI to run is the distribution censoring on Facebook, which I'm sure by the end of this episode I'll have a nice dispute coming up again.
Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't been shadow banned with my Great Lake Effect page yet. Like Mornaran, I get shadow banned all the time. But
See, we haven't been, my podcast and the TLC podcast hasn't been shadow banned yet. And maybe it has, and I just haven't noticed it. But that's because every time we get a media dispute in regards to using music and whatnot, one, I could tell it's AI generated, and two, I figured out the right wording to use to get it completely reversed and thrown out.
nice. You'll have to share your secrets with me just in case.
Well, I'll put it this way. In the event that this turns into a dispute on any of the platforms, whether it be our YouTube page, my personal Zero Facebook page, or the TLC page, which this is live streaming across all platforms. I think right now a lot of people back home in Illinois are like, it is only 4:00. Why is he doing a live stream now? I'm an hour ahead of you guys. He's an hour ahead of you. It made more sense than waiting until later. But I will actually probably take a video on how to do it. That way people can see how to beat it.
There we go.
I personally believe if you're going to censor either full live streams or bits and pieces, when an artist sends music over, that music is to help promote the artist.
Right.
It's an agreement between whoever's hosting the live stream and the person being interviewed. It's an agreement that, yes, you can use my music to promote. That's what it is.
Right, absolutely.
Now, all right, we kind of got off track on that one. So anyway, about the Great Lake Effect. Tell us a little bit more. When does it go live? When does new episodes drop? Is it streaming anywhere other than Facebook or YouTube?
All right. So yeah, every Friday, I go live at 4 p.m. Eastern, and it's on indiemusicfans.com. All you gotta do is click the play button when you go there. It's also on Live 365 if you do like a station search, and online radio box. Yeah, every Friday, and then generally within a few days after that, there's a replay available on Mixcloud.
Okay.
Yeah, every Friday we're like 100% live, unscripted. It is generally a debacle. Anything involving me and being live usually turns into some sort of shit show. But it's a lot of fun. I've met a lot of awesome bands from it. I've found a lot of awesome music. At this point, I have 76 bands so far that have sent me music, and I'm, creeping in people's DMs on probably about 30 or 40 more bands going, hey, you should send me your music and I'll play it on my show.
Now, do you use Spotify at all as like a personal streamer, or what do you use to listen to music?
I use Spotify. I used to use Amazon Music, and then I switched. And then I started putting out music, and I found out Amazon pays a lot more than Spotify, and I was like, damn.
So the last time I checked in regards to payout, I believe Tidal was the biggest one for payouts per stream, but they also require the highest quality, which is really fucked up. Because unless you have a high-end sound system, you're not going to hear the difference.
Right.
So,
I feel like if we could like create a movement to a platform like Tidal, or even just off of Spotify, like towards Amazon or iTunes, I think maybe that could help drive the message of you should be paying these artists more.
Yep. Unfortunately, Spotify is just convenient and all that. And the saddest part is, I'll bet you anything, of the people that listen to either my podcast or the Midweek Meltdown or anything out there, I will bet you about 80% of them have an Amazon Prime account. And what they fail to realize is Amazon Music is included in that Prime account.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if it's commercial free or not, but it's still included.
I mean, there it is. That could be it. That could be our movement. I mean, not that we really should give Bezos any more support or money per se, but
I'm going to tell you right now, as an Amazon employee, Bezos no longer has anything to do with the operations. He signed all that over to Andy Jassy about 2 years ago. All he's doing now is collecting a royalty check and living off his stocks. Hence why he moved to Florida, because Florida has no capital gains tax. So when you cash out those shares, it's all money.
Damn.
Unlike, people who live in Illinois like myself, that when I get when my shares vest, I have to sell a portion to cover taxes, or I have to pay the taxes at the end of the year, which, I'm not that rich. No, thank you.
Right.
But also, to be fair, that's part of my salary and whatnot, and I don't like gambling on the stock market, so generally whenever my stocks vest, I cash them out right then and there.
I haven't gotten into the stock market yet.
I just look at it. It used to be biannually they would vest, and now they vest every quarter. And it's like, I look at it as like a 3-month bonus.
I mean, it works, right?
Oh yeah, it goes to paying bills. Oh shit. All right. So anyway, you sent over 2 songs from Mornaran.
Yes.
With that being the case, which one would you like to play first?
We'll go with No Consequence. That's my newest one.
Okay, then you heard it from Aaron. We're going to start off with No Consequences from Mornaran, and we'll be right back.
Just change. Guess I'll go and fuck myself. Doesn't matter. Feeling insignificant. Doesn't matter. Feelings have no consequence. Doesn't matter. Drowning in resentment. Doesn't matter. Feelings have no consequence.
Oh, wow.
All right. And we are back. And that was No Consequence by Mornaran from our very special guest today, Aaron Carrigan. So, Aaron, first and foremost, you said that you started Mornaran about 15 years ago. What got you into playing music?
Honestly, I loved listening to music like growing up, and as I got a guitar as a gift when I was, oh man, 10ish from my grandfather, and tried taking lessons. It didn't stick, and then I was like, you know what, I really need to do something with this guitar, and I taught myself in my senior year of high school, and it just ran away with that. I grew up, like obsessed with Nirvana Unplugged, so I was like, I want to be just like that when I grow up, so to speak.
So, with that being the case, who are some of your biggest influences? And unlike other people, I'll be like, who are your top three or your top five? Off the top of your head, who are some of your biggest influences?
Nirvana, Bush, A Day to Remember, Metallica, Alice in Chains. Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned Bush. I actually won concert tickets for this Saturday night for them in Shinedown in Chicago.
Oh, dude. Bush puts on a good show. I saw them a couple years ago with Alice in Chains and Breaking Benjamin. And
Really?
that was cool because I got to cross two of my bucket list bands off in one show.
There you go. Well, I've always been interested to see Shinedown because my former lead guitarist mentioned just how phenomenal Brent is vocally, even when playing live. You know, and in regards to Bush being on the tour, I don't know how many years when I was in wrestling, Machine Head was, on repeat before I had to go wrestle a match. And I don't know why that was the song. It was just that was the one.
It it's a good song. Like
Mhm.
it's fast, it's loud, it just gets you hyped. Like I could totally see it.
So, with Mornaran, what shows do you have coming up?
Uh I'm currently still working with Tim to figure out Punk in the Corn. Because that was a whole thing. We were going to be Tim TM and I were going and Daniel XO were going to be playing instruments for Louis Tivey from England, and he had to drop, and then Danny had to drop. So then Tim and I were like scrambling to find people, but I messaged Tim and I was like, I mean, if you're down for acoustic, I'll still play. I mean,
Mhm.
I can't imagine going in between like KTO and Spock, and going up there playing acoustic. But sure, whatever. If you want
Is
me, I'll be
Fox,
there.
is Fox still on the show? Because I thought I saw something about them dropping.
They did drop. They're just the band that came to my mind.
Wow.
Um, but I'm also coordinating with a venue in Saginaw to do an unplugged show, possibly an unplugged series. And the first one of that is set for November 22nd, and I'll be playing that one.
And that was the one you had posted about if anyone plays acoustic, and my dumbass opening my mouth. I dabble in it. I mean, I'm not against the idea of coming up there and playing. And anytime I travel, my acoustic goes with me. So that is in the room right now because I'm still working on some new music for PCB right now. So, I mean, I'm mulling it over. I am mulling it over. I really am.
And like I said, there's actually been a decent amount of interest. I'm kind of shocked. I was kind of expecting this to kind of like fall flat, but the co-owner at Vex venue and I have been talking about doing more of these shows.
Okay.
If November doesn't work, I don't know when we're thinking for the next one, but there'll be more.
Are you interested in getting into booking part-time or full-time at that point?
It's definitely something that I've been kind of thinking about. I think it'd be really cool, especially I feel like it would tie into the initial idea I had of creating a greater community of musicians. Obviously, you responded that you dabble. A band from Pennsylvania said, "Oh, we do acoustic," and I was like, "Would you be interested in playing in Michigan?" They're like, "I mean, it's kind of." I'm like, "No, that's fair." Like, Michael Scott said, "You'll miss every shot you don't take." So I'm,
Mm-hmm.
and if you can't do this one, or the idea does intrigue you, maybe down the road, next summer, set up like an unplugged fest. And like I'm super excited about this too because this venue has like a very like gothic horror aesthetic. Like it moonlights as a haunted house all the time.
Nice. Very
But
nice.
so I'm imagining, the Nirvana unplugged aesthetic, candles, flowers, but like mixed in with this spooky horror aesthetic, and I think it'd be really cool. So I'm super excited about that show. So far, I'm the only confirmed band. I'm talking with several bands, and I'm just waiting to find out. Like, all right, who are we? Who's all submitted? Who wants to actually do this? And
Well, I could say PCB has done a few acoustic sets in our day. I could talk to them and see if they would want to make the trip and do a full band acoustic set. If not, I'm still considering it. I just have to look far enough ahead into my schedule and what's all going on. But it's great that there is a ton of interest and everything. And I think it's also a good thing because a lot of the times acoustic acts, whether it be solo or bands even doing it acoustically, first off, I think every band should do at least one acoustic set in their time frame.
absolutely,
Because it not only does it make you a better musician, in my opinion, but as a band, it shows just how well rounded and how tight you are with your other musicians because yeah, you can go up there and play the music the same way you do live. Or you can get creative with it and see what happens.
Oh, absolutely. I had a band on GLE a couple weeks ago who did an acoustic EP of some of the songs off their main album. And they're like, we're super excited for this one because on the album it's just kind of like an interlude track. And by doing it acoustic, we were able to add like strings and like extra lead parts and do this and like some vocal like melodies in the background, and it turned out really awesome, and it was a very nice juxtaposition to the original.
See,
I love. Oh, go ahead.
that's something I've been talking about doing with the band for a while now. Is that going in and even just releasing like a 5-song random EP of songs turned acoustically, but when you get down to writing it and trying to make it different, the creative juices just don't stop to where it's almost like, damn, nothing's good enough for this yet.
Bear with me for a second. I'm going to turn a light on and take a look outside. I got a tornado warning alert on my phone.
Oh shit.
So bear with me.
By all means. Well, during this break, we will play the second song that Aaron sent over, which is called, I believe it's like Sedatives Only Work When I'm Happy. So, with that being the case, here's Sedatives Only Work When I'm Happy. We are back, and I'm not gonna lie. One thing I did notice throughout this episode and whatnot, I noticed that it was getting darker and darker behind you through the curtain, and I'm like, I don't know, but I'm not sure which direction I'm looking out my window, but there are a lot of heavy storm clouds straight out, so I'm wondering if that's what it is.
Well, maybe. Yeah, if you see like a big black mass coming behind me, let me know.
Well, we are getting to be about the point of wrapping up. So, Aaron, thank you again for being a part of this episode. It's good to actually be back to doing the other side of the mic. With that being said, what are some final words of wisdom you have for people looking to start a band or musicians out there? And then also, where can people find more of Mornaran's music?
Well, you can find Mornaran's music on Spotify, YouTube, all the major streaming services. I also have a Reverb Nation from way back in the day, and that has some juicy old demos on it, but don't listen to those because those are terrible. Let me revamp them like I have with Sedatives there. And then for any aspiring musicians out there, get out and make connections. Go to shows, go see other bands, hang out and talk with them. Don't just go to see your friend's band and then dip. and only show up for them. Show up at the beginning, stay until the end. Go up to someone afterwards and be like, dude, that set was sick. I like your guitar. Like, build that connection, because those connections will end up helping you later. Like, there's so many bands that I messaged for GLE, and I was like, hey, I remember seeing you at a show in this little hall 15 years ago, and I fell in love with your song. Can I use it as my intro song? Hey, we played some shows with this other band whose singer was a huge promoter in the area. You might not remember me, but I'm doing this. And I think that helped, because I just broke 300 followers on Instagram. Like, I'm still small, I'm some guy in people's DMs going, hey, send me your music. So having those connections, having those established, like, hey, we played a show together 15 years ago. I came to your show, like, it makes a difference, And then and that goes for fans out there too, like the casual listeners. Go to your local shows. Go to the dive bar down the street. Go to the hole in wall venue with graffiti and posters all over the walls. Like, it's way cheaper than a dinner at McDonald's even half the time. You're going to find great talent, real talent. You're going to be able to interact with these people. You're not locked behind a barricade 20 feet from the stage while they're 30 feet above you. Like, they're in your face. You could be in their face, And that's the thing that really helps support the scene all around. The bands need the venues, and the venues need the bands, and everyone needs the fans and the foot traffic and the bodies in the door. If you're going out to the bar anyways, go where there's live music. Simple as that.
Exactly. I firmly agree with that one. All right, but Aaron, thank you again for being a part of this episode. We will definitely be in touch. Yeah, I really don't have much else to say at this point. Be sure to check out Mornaran, as well as the Great Lake Effect radio show. You're gonna have to send me over the link. That way, when I go to share this and everything, I can make sure that I have that attached. But other than that, I will be talking to you soon. Stay safe, and don't get taken off the Oz.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. You have a good night.
You too.
And ladies and gentlemen, this concludes another episode of The Other Side of the Mic. I am your host, Zero, with the Tables, Ladders, and Chatter Podcast Network. I will see you all tomorrow night for another episode of Midweek Meltdown. And other than that, I got to figure out who my guest is going to be for next Tuesday. Shit.